truth.
Gail, excuse me.
Oh, sure. I'll tell Lee I saw you.
Bye, Gail. What? Did you talk to Kevin? Did he change his mind?
Yes, Lucy, I did, but I can't say I got him to change his mind. I mean, I did try to plant some questions in his mind about his decision.
Your reputation precedes you, Miss Davis. I've read about a couple of your cases, but this one's going to be different.
I appreciate confidence in an opponent, however misplaced.
Your client doesn't seem to have much confidence in his own case, or he wouldn't be pleading guilty. He knows he's a threat, and he wants to be put away. I'm going to make sure he gets that wish.
Court is now in session. Honorable Judge Harold Randolph presiding. Be seated.
This is it, Dr. Collins. I've given you my best advice. I hope you take it. Doc, I love you.
I love you, too. Felicia. I love you.
All right. Kevin Collins, you're charged with the harassment, kidnapping, and the unlawful imprisonment of the complainant, Felicia Jones. How do you plead? Dr. Collins, are you prepared to enter a plea?
Yes, Your Honor. Not guilty.
Oh,
Take your seats. Let's go.
and everybody knows about it.
I'm going to have this round of
We'll come out in time.
Stop it now.
You're not going to do our case any good by coming off as hysterical. So would you please sit down and get control of yourself?
Nice touch. Very dramatic. But do me a favor. Don't ever surprise me like that again. Your Honor, I'm requesting that my client be released on his own recognizance.
No chance, Counselor. I will fight that one to the wire.
Your prerogative. Counsel's objections notwithstanding, I submit my client has never before been accused of a crime. He is a prominent member of the Port Charles community, a highly regarded doctor on staff at General Hospital. He poses no flight risk.
Because you say so? Your Honor, this man has spent months terrorizing Felicia Jones in a pattern of increasing violence. We are convinced that if he's allowed to roam free, this pattern will continue and progress to a sadly inevitable conclusion. So not only do I vehemently oppose OR for this defendant, but I am requesting that you deny him bail altogether and hold him over until time of trial.
Do you have evidence to support your bail opposition?
I do. As of this morning, Dr. Collins was still stalking Miss Jones. Just this morning, Felicia Jones received a phone call from the defendant, the purpose of which I think you will find very interesting. He said he wanted to reassure her of his intention to plead guilty at today's hearing. He said he didn't want to put her through any more torment, which, I might add, is tantamount to an admission. And now he has the hubris to stand here in court and add insult to injury by throwing that promise back in her face as if this were all a big joke.
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I'm going to have to stop you here. Your Honor, my client has a constitutional right to plead however he chooses.
Excuse me, may I be allowed to finish?
Sidebar. Both of you.
I only have one thing to say. I am sitting here filled with so much love for you. I don't know where to put it all.
I don't know what I'd do without you either, Lucy.
You'll never have to know.
Are you up to testifying? Now? Yep, because you're on. Okay. The state calls Felicia Jones to the stand. How did you feel?
Terrified. Horrified. The same way that I've been feeling for months.
Did Dr. Collins always inspire these feelings of fear in you?
No. He was my friend. And that's the worst part about it. He was my friend and I trusted him. I let him into my house. He had access to my children. And not only did I give him the benefit of the doubt when he first came to this town, I defended him to all the people that didn't want to hear it. And the fact that he threw it all back in my face in such a horrible way makes me really question my own judgment. And this morning, the telephone call from him, I guess harassing me and stalking me wasn't enough.
It sounds like your life has been greatly affected by what's happened.
You know, I haven't really had a life. I haven't had a life for a very long time. What I've been is a puppet, and he's been pulling my strings. He forced my children out of town. He made copies of conversations that I had with them and used that to frighten me. But mostly, I resent it. I'm sorry.
We understand how painful it must be.
No, you don't. Not unless you've been someone's victim. And it's happened to me 3 times. A man with his face. And if I've learned anything from this, it's that you cannot control somebody's existence without having to pay for it.
Thank you, Miss Jones.
Miss Davis,
Nothing for this witness.
you may take your seat, Miss Jones. Anyone else?
No, Your Honor.
I'd like to call a witness, Your Honor. I do have that right.
All right. Move along, Miss Davis.
Since the question before the court is whether or not Dr. Collins represents a danger to himself or others, and his freedom of movement will be based on that, I would like to hear from an expert. The defense calls Dr. Tom Hardy.